It's Dr. E, another edition of Heart to Heart. We are actually talking about something I am fully enthralled with. It is happy body. We have our guest, Karen Cadé. I hope I'm saying her name correctly because at one point I was like, hey, Miranda. At one point I was like, I think I'm saying her name correctly. But then I heard her say it and was like, oh, okay, that ain't the way you say it. She is all the way in Europe. She is going to be talking fitness, giving her story about how she came to have a happy body. Because sometimes, hey, Mesley, sometimes we don't find happiness in our body because we hate certain things about it. That was me. I used to didn't like my face. After breakup, I gained like 40 pounds. I didn't like that. I consulted with a personal trainer and improved my body. I created a new me, and that's part of this heart to heart is understanding, going deep within yourself, your self-care, your self-love, and understanding what do you currently love about your body, what don't you love, how can you shift it, how can you grow, how can you become disciplined. To use my OCD method, y'all know that's what I teach. Discipline is the third piece of the puzzle. You have to be disciplined in creating a new body. And your body, this human body that where our soul exists, is nothing but a physical manifestation of how we feel inside. So when your body looks a certain way, you may not feel comfortable about your belly. You may not feel comfortable about the way your lips look or your butt or whatever it is. My thing is do something about it and give yourself grace, give yourself space to make those adjustments and those changes, because things, of course, they can happen overnight, but 9 times out of 10 come with some work. And I don't like to call it work. It's just investment in time, right? Right, Karen? How are you doing? It's so it's so sunny there. Where are you sitting?
I am in Italy. That's where I now live. So I'm in my garden. I hope. Can you hear me okay?
You are perfect. You're coming through clearly. Amazing. I am so happy to see you in the garden. Tell me more about this garden.
Oh, it's beautiful. After living in the UK and living in an apartment for, I think it was 4 years that I was living in an apartment. I got my puppy, my dog, Arlo. I don't know if you've seen my Frenchie, my French bulldog.
I
I've got Arlo.
have.
So we got a dog during lockdown, and in the UK, because my daughter had been saying to me for years, please mum, when we're going to get another dog. And because I was working all the time, I knew it wasn't fair to have a dog whilst I was out working. So I said no. But then because of lockdown and having to be at home, I was like, we can get a dog now. So we researched and made sure that French bulldogs are good apartment dogs, and they are. And in fact, Arlo doesn't like particularly going outside for a walk, not outside the garden anyway. So when I moved to Italy and I found this house that I now live in, the garden was one of the biggest pluses of living here, because I'd been without one for a few years. So I absolutely love my garden, and my dogs absolutely love my garden.
I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is
if I can do my lives in the garden like I've been doing them in the 6-week fit club, then I do, because it's lovely to get fresh air.
So tell us more. You just mentioned the 6-week fit club. Tell us what that is all about.
So I had a crazy idea that I was going to show women, in particular, men too, that it's easy to drop weight when you do the right things, the right healthy things. Because with a combination of healthy eating and exercise, it's been the only thing that's ever worked for me for years, to lose excess weight and keep it off. And my journey first starts when I'm 55 now, but when I was a 16-year-old teenage mum, and I put on 4 stone in post-baby weight. And I remember
Wow.
being so unhappy and feeling ugly and overweight and fat and all the things that we say to ourselves when we're like, you know, when we are that. When I saw myself as being that in the mirror. So I did actually lose that weight within a year by literally starving myself into change, living on black coffee, cigarettes, and very little food, because I really didn't know any better. No, I knew I was overweight. I'd been told by the doctors or the nurse when I went for my checkup post-baby that I was overweight and I needed to lose the weight, but I didn't know how to do it healthily. No one had ever taught me to do that. So I came up with my own solution, and I think, you know, at my lowest weight, I was 7.5 stone, which is like 2 stone less than what I weigh now. And it was only because my mum had said to me when I was visiting her with my baby, my son, you're looking way too skinny, that I kind of took stock and realised that I needed to stop and that I needed to take care of my baby by taking care of me. So I luckily pulled back from probably an eating disorder, and I knew that there was no point in being, you know, overweight and unhealthy, but equally I had the awareness that there was no point in being skinny and unhealthy. There had to be a middle, and the middle is healthy. So I spent the next 20 years of my life yo-yo dieting, because starving myself might have worked when I was really young, but I didn't want to live like that. So I tried all the diets there was out there over the next 20 years, trying to find something that would help me to be the weight that I wanted to be. And I thought I wanted to be 8.5 stone, which for my height, where I got this from was I'd read a magazine where someone famous was my height, and they said they weighed 8.5 stone. And I thought, oh, she looks really good. I want to be that weight. It's the comparison is the thief of joy, as I now know that I'm older.
Right.
But hey, I wanted when I was younger to be 8.5 stone, because that's what I saw that looked good. And so why couldn't I be 8.5 stone? But I would get to 8.5 stone, and then I'd put the weight back on, because if that wasn't the right weight for me, but it needed me to have many years of getting it wrong before I finally got it right. And that was 20 years later after baby number 3. So I had my last child when I was 36, and 3 months post-pregnancy, I had a health visitor come to my house, and after a series of questions, she said, you've got the beginnings of postnatal depression and baby blues. And I had, and she gave me one of 2 options: to go and see my doctor and be prescribed antidepressants, or take up exercise, as it was known to help. And after some thought, because I researched about antidepressants, because I'd never taken any before, and some of the side effects wasn't going to fit in with my life. You know, the side effects are weight gain, sleep, you need more sleep, and there was another thing as well. Oh, you can become addicted to them. So I was like, why don't I try the more natural remedy first? Why don't I try exercise? And if exercise doesn't work, I can always go back and go and get the antidepressants. But let's give exercise a go. And I did. I didn't live close by to a gym at the time. The nearest gym was 30 minutes drive away. So that's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, an hour out of my already busy mum day. So I asked myself the question, what could I do that was on my doorstep? And the answer that came to me was running.
Yes.
So I was very, very unfit, unhealthy, and I had to start slow, very slow. And I started with a run walk. So I'd run and then I'd walk, and then I'd run and then I'd walk. And then very slowly over time, that developed into less walking, more running, until I was comfortably up to about 30 minutes, which took a good few months because I wasn't going out every day. I was only going out, 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes with my baby in the buggy. But I was committed to doing it, even though it was painful and, you were out of breath. But I really wanted to get well. I wanted to feel well. I wanted to feel good in myself. And I think I was doing really well. And then my granddad passed away from cancer. And I could feel myself getting down again, when you lose a loved one.
Definitely. The grief.
Yeah. And because I recognised it, because it wasn't that long ago I was suffering from the depression, I said, what can I do to turn this around and turn this negative feeling into a positive? I picked up a marathon magazine and it said, if you can run comfortably now for half an hour, you're capable of running the marathon next year. And I said to myself, I can do that. So I managed to get into running the marathon, which is no easy feat. And I had about 7 months to train to get myself from running. I thought I was running about 5 miles in my head, like in my little half an hour runs. But when I did it in the car, because we didn't have like that, the Apple Watch and stuff like this.
Right.
2005. So I drove around the block in the car, and I was only doing 2.5 miles. So I was actually running a lot less far than what I thought that I was. But that was okay. That was my starting point. And I just had to, train and run and just increase. I think it was something like 10% every week up until I bought a marathon book, and I really threw myself into it. And on the day of running the marathon, I did really well up until probably about halfway round. And then I started getting tired, as you would. And in my mind's eye, I could see a lot of younger people running past me. And I thought to myself, because I was 38 at the time, that it was because of my age. And it was my age that was slowing me down. And that, why did I think I could do this? I just had a lot of negative thoughts that came into my head. And it wasn't until I did finally cross the finish line at 5 hours 20 that I congratulated the lady to the right of me. And it was one of my biggest life lessons, and I'm so grateful that it happened. This lady to the right of me was in her early 70s. And
wow. Yes.
18th marathon. And whereas I once had a very negative mindset about aging, she changed all of that for me in an instant, because I was thinking, she's like in her 70s, she's running her 18th marathon. Here I am, 38, running my first. I've got years.
Exactly.
Like, I'm still a baby. So I went from being, really negative about aging to being really positive about aging, and just feeling that if you've got it and you always use it, you'll always have it. But if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you need to keep up the fitness. It needs to be like fit for life. It's not short term, it's lifelong. And you sign yourself up to be fit for life, not short term. It's a long term.
I got a question for you, Karen, because the way you told that story about you having your you started to run the marathon, you seen the lady who had did the 18 and she was twice your age. One thing I've noticed about you is even with the ups and downs, the cycles with your body, you never get down on yourself. You know where to go back to that equilibrium.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're doing with this the fit challenge, the 6 week challenge, because so many of us will get off track and we'll let that lead us into a year or two of getting off track. How do you maintain this happy body and knowing when I get off track, I got to get back on track? How do you do that?
By not beating myself up, by allowing myself to, live life. And, eating is, fitness is 80% what we eat and only 20% exercise. Most people think it's the other way round. They think that you have to exercise, just a small part of it. But if you swap it and you know that actually your eating is the biggest part of it, and you have to focus more on the healthy eating than you do on the exercise, so it's not so much painful because most people think of exercise as hard work. But walking is exercise. Exercise doesn't have to be hard work, and it can actually be really joyful. Like, I love working out. I've got myself to a stage now. I think it's because exercise releases happy endorphins. You cannot be anything other than happy once you've exercised. Running the marathon taught me that with a combination of healthy eating and exercise, it's the only thing that ever worked for me long term to lose excess weight and keep it off. So I just found the secret I've been looking for 20 years. I've now spent another 20 years doing the same thing. I don't run marathons anymore. I don't need to. I did do a bikini fitness contest when I was 47.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
But that, again, was to prove to women that you can look good in your body. Like, your body can look good being older, and you can be fitter being older. You can have a better body when you're older than what you can when you're younger. Because I was hearing women say, since I've had children, my body's not been the same and it's really gone downhill, and I wish I had my younger body. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. You just look after your body. It depends what your goals are. Not everyone wants a bikini fit body, but I did that because it was right for me at that time. And I also, I found like freedom in being able to do something for me at that age and step out on stage wearing a bikini, which is something I would never have dreamed of doing in my life up until that point. And it was relevant because I was an older woman who just started my career in fitness. And so I wanted to find, I couldn't do a marathon again because I'd had an injury. So it was like, what else can I do that actually will strengthen my body? And it was still another 7 months of training to get my body from probably how it is now to the bikini fitness pictures. Yeah. And I committed to an hour of exercise a day and healthy eating. And as time got, further in, and I was 6 weeks out of the contest, I did have to drop 1 stone in weight and up some of my exercise because I was holding fat in different areas of my body. And I did what I was told by my coach, my posing coach, and it worked. So, and I dropped a stone in weight in 6 weeks. That's why I knew this time round, if I show women, and one of the things that I was saying to myself is, it's easy to drop weight when you do the right things, the right healthy things. Because I want to show people it's healthy. It's not starving yourself, it's healthy.
What is the biggest thing you've seen as the difference? Because years ago, you used to do all this unhealthy stuff. You were talking about the coffee and all of that. Now you're doing it the healthy way, like really monitoring your diet. What is the biggest thing you've seen within yourself between those two paths of losing weight?
Right. I no longer smoke, thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's like, so I used to be addicted to chocolate. When I was pregnant, I said that I had a craving for chocolate, and a lot of chocolate was consumed. I mean, and now I still eat chocolate nearly every day, but I eat dark chocolate. I eat 85% dark chocolate, and I have one square. And so my diet, like I'm a pescatarian, so I eat fish and a lot of fruit and vegetables, loads of fruit and vegetables. And I read my first healthy eating book was back in my 20s, and it was called Fit for Life. And it talked about food combining and sure that you don't eat carbohydrates and proteins in the same meal. So I tend to try and eat my carbohydrates earlier in the day because I know that my body uses carbohydrates as its preferred source of fuel. But anything you don't eat, like say you eat carbohydrates later in the evening, well, if you're not moving around, your body's going to store it as fat. So I eat carbohydrates for breakfast, I eat carbohydrates for lunch, and then I swap to protein in the night time. And that really works for me. I mean, when I had to drop the stone for bikini fitness, carbohydrates were out. I did have some for breakfast, but not for lunch and not for my evening meal. And in the last 2 weeks, I was protein only to the point of having egg whites, not even egg yolks, white fish,
Oh my.
turkey. I mean, my diet was very restrictive, a gallon of Evian water a day. But I was given an eating plan, and I was eating. I wasn't starving myself like I did when I was 16. This is, eating regularly, but very restrictive. So now I, make sure that I do eat carbohydrates because I love carbohydrates. I've moved to Italy and I love pizza. And that isn't
Right.
that's not necessarily, that is carbohydrates and protein because the cheese is more protein. But I don't eat that very often. That's not something I eat every day. That's something I will have as, say, a treat at the weekend. And maybe eat once, sometimes twice a week. But I try to stick to having carbohydrates and vegetables, or having protein and vegetables in the evening. I have fruit in the morning, so I'll eat, a banana every day. I love bananas.
You like bananas?
I write about bananas in my Happy You, Happy Body book because
Yes.
there's an ingredient in bananas that's in Prozac. So
Really?
yeah, food affects your mood, and so a banana, if you turn a banana up, it's a smiley face. It's like it can help to make you happy. It really does. Like
And it's yellow too. It's yellow like the sun, like it's bright.
and I try to eat a rainbow colour of fruit and vegetables. So I'm looking all the time for brightness and different colours, and like I love eating healthy foods, and healthy foods, like fruits and vegetables are your medicine. They keep you well and they keep you healthy. So why would you not include them in your diet? But I eat the fruits in the morning because of the fructose, the sugar
Yeah.
content. And I feel I need that in the morning. It helps keep my sweet tooth at bay, because I have got a sweet tooth. And I heard recently many people have a sweet tooth. It's not just women, it's men too.
Oh,
Lots of people have.
definitely.
So if I eat the fruit in the morning, then I haven't got a sweet tooth all afternoon, because in my mind I say, but I've already eaten the fruit. I've already eaten the chocolate. I have my chocolate around 11 o'clock. I've had my dark chocolate. I'm drinking my water. like I sleep really well because I exercise, I meditate, I do all the things that you need to do to have like a healthy, happy body and just keep things ticking over. It's the small steps that you take every day, your habits. Like if you have good, healthy habits and you stick to them every day, it adds up to one healthy difference. And I'm living
It,
proof because
it really does.
yeah, here I am, 55 years old, and so many people say to me, you don't look your age. I certainly
You
don't act.
don't.
But yeah, and it's because, you know, I now live in Italy and I'm living the life of my dreams. I live by the sea. I've, you know, I've created a life that I love. So I eat the healthy foods that I love. I do the exercise that I love. And I surround myself, you know, with happy things, like things that make me happy. Most people don't know what makes them happy. So it's about
Mm.
sitting with yourself and asking what makes you happy. What do you do that brings you joy? Because I was once asked that question and I really had to think for a long time about what do I do that makes me happy? And
Yeah,
exercise.
yeah, exercise is one of those, right? You talking about what makes you happy. I know you're very happy about coming to the US. When are you coming and what are you doing?
How did this happen, Elmira? All of a sudden I saw
Yeah.
Sarah Gray, who's my business consultant, and she was in America. She's from Ireland, and she was in America. She was in this studio teaching business webinar training. And when I saw her in the studio and how amazing it looked, I said, I want to be in that studio. And then before I knew it, she put an offer out that was, if you sign up with me and you're the first of 20, you get to come to this studio in the US. I was like, I want to do that. A bit like I wanted to run a marathon, and the next thing I was running a marathon. So I wanted to do bikini fitness, and the next thing I'm on stage and I'm doing bikini fitness. And now I want to be in America. I want to be on this stage,
Hmm.
I suppose, studio in America, and I want to teach 3 hours. It's called, before I forget, Mega Live Masterclass, 3 hours live, a fit and fabulous for the festive season, your little black dress blueprint.
Ooh,
So,
I like it.
so as you know, I had my dress, my favourite black dress that I hadn't worn 7 years ago, and it's on my Instagram. So I purposely put on 3 kilos, which is 6 pounds, 6 weeks leading up to the Mega Live Masterclass, so that I can show that over 6 weeks I will healthily drop 6 pounds in weight, which is 3 kilos, and then I will be in America wearing the black dress. Did I or didn't I lose the weight? And then just teach, you know, aspects of my book and help other women to do the same before, you know, the Thanksgiving's coming up in America, and the Christmas
Hmm.
season is coming up, and I know people are going to be wanting to fit into their little black dress or their outfit for Christmas and feel good and feel confident. And the thing is, if I just spoke about health, nobody would be that interested. But if I tell them that I'm dropping, you know, 6 pounds, and that if I can do this and it's available to me, it's available to you. I mean, who hasn't got their favourite little dress that I know you have
Yeah,
that they want to?
I got a pink dress that I've been working with Karen, y'all, in this challenge and doing the work, and I've seen the results. I still got a ways to go, but I got the dress. Okay, got a question for you. Why did, because you're talking about festive season coming up, the holidays, all of that. And a lot of times, what we will do is go buy something new to fit our
Shape.
5 extra pound body or something. What is your recommendation? I know you got the challenge and all that. What is the recommendation for us to just go ahead and fit into the beautiful dress we already have?
Well, one of the reasons that keeps me the same healthy weight year in, year out is because I have a wardrobe full of really nice clothes that I love.
Hmm.
They make me want to do it. When I buy clothes now, they make me want to do a happy dance. So
Yes, me too.
so I've got some great memories. Like the last time I wore that black dress was in Ibiza, and I danced the night away all night long. I was so happy, and I've got some great memories. And it's like, why shouldn't I want to wear that dress again and again and again, year in, year out, if I want to? And so I keep my body the same healthy weight because I discovered what did I want to weigh for the rest of my life, not just short term, but I thought ahead. What do I want to weigh? What would I love to weigh for the rest of my life? And I said back then it was 8.5 stone because I saw somebody else in a magazine, which is where women get their thoughts and stuff from. So I came up with my healthy weight is going to be is 60 kilos, 9 stone 4. That
Hmm.
puts me at a size 10 to a 12 UK. And that way my clothes will fit me for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And that's what, because I see older women looking good, looking stylish. And whereas I was once told by someone, oh, you wait till you hit your 40s and your 50s and you're going to put on loads of weight because of the menopause.
No, not at all.
I looked around me and I saw that there's women of all shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be like that, You just I've sailed through the menopause. I had to actually have a blood test done to see if I was postmenopausal
Hmm.
because I exercise. I had a year out from drinking alcohol a couple of years ago. Um, I meditate. I have not really suffered from any menopausal symptoms, but I think it's just because I'm healthy. So I've
Yes.
managed to sustain healthy weight, as I said back in 2006 when I discovered my healthy weight. And then that means that my clothes will fit me, so I don't have to keep going out and buying clothes when a special occasion comes up. I've got some that I can go to because otherwise you rush buy clothes and they don't. You think, oh, I'll wear it for that occasion, put it away, and then you don't wear it again. There's a lot of like we spend a lot of time going out clothes shopping and trying to find the right outfit for the right occasion, and like why not just invest that time in working on you, getting you into the best place, like come back to you.
I I agree with that. Like coming back to you now with this presentation you'll be doing here in the US, is there a way for people to view that or is it only available
It,
for certain folks? Tell us about
well,
that.
it's going to be invite only,
Gotcha.
uh, but if any of your audience, my audience wants is interested in, because it's on the 11th of October, so it's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. It's going to be 3 hours. It's a free event. I'm not charging for the event. And if people want to DM me, either come to Instagram or on Facebook. I'm Karen Cadé on Facebook, and then we can have a chat. And if I think that you're the right fit, then I'd love to invite you into the 6-week fit fit group, the challenge, because I've got videos in there. I've done lives in there, which I've numbered so that people can go in and watch the videos and get inspiration. Because I'm not in there coaching. It's like I'm lifting the lid on all of my secrets, all the things I do to be the way that I am, to, drop this weight healthy. I haven't shown too much exercise in there at the moment, but, my, when being a personal trainer. I've spent years teaching fitness. This is an exercise. Now this is me coaching and speaking about my experience and telling
And you
women.
know what I love? I just want to add this as you continue in the group because I'm taking part in the challenge.
Oh, you're
You
amazing.
speak, yeah, you speak about what's really going on. Like you're like, I went to the party the other day and we had cake and my daughters were in town and this happened. Because those are challenges that we all face with our food, but it's not a reason going to back to what we were speaking on. It's not a reason to get off track because we've made this commitment. This is the happy body I want to have for the remainder of my life. So in the group, y'all are going to get this. So make sure you contact Karen and get this information. And like she said, if you are the right fit, you're aligned, you'll definitely want to catch the presentation, get in the group. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you've been amazing. You know, very active member in the group, and you're exercising and you're doing all the things. I mean, what have you found? You know, easy to do, and maybe not so easy.
Um,
Or
Not so easy as some of the food is because I, of course, live with my boyfriend and he wants to eat certain things. But what I have discovered is it's just like you said, that morning routine. What am I doing in the morning? So every morning I have this, which is my greens, and I just put that in my water and I started taking because I was taking this years ago, but with your challenge, it reignited this within myself, the colloidal copper, which helps me with the minerals too. I've been doing my workouts, and for me, the food has been the biggest challenge because but I won't necessarily call it a challenge because it's all about making choices. Like my boyfriend's birthday was this past Monday and we went to the seafood restaurant. I had fish tacos. I could have very well said, I want to eat pizza or I want to eat all this stuff that's full of carbs or cheese, but I didn't select that. So and I'm the same as you, Karen. I've committed to moving for the rest of my life, like moving my body. So it's very easy when I start feeling stiff, I know this is not my happy body. Like I can sense it. I can feel it.
yeah, exactly. It's like I practice yoga, so you know, I do stretching. I'm a yoga teacher, so I teach yoga. I think like the awareness for me, because it is all about becoming aware of your body, aware of your choices. I mean, one of the first sentence in my Happy You, Happy Body book is the only thing standing between you and the happy body, happy, healthy body you want is you and the choices that you make. It all comes down to choices. What choice am I
Hmm.
making? Imagine if I didn't make the choice of taking up exercise over antidepressants.
Right.
Would I even be here today? I really don't know, because I wasn't in a particularly good place, and I'm very, very, very grateful that I chose the exercise, because it had a knock-on effect on so many other areas of my life. You know, it's transformational, not just for your mind, not just for your body, but for your mind too. The running the marathon, you know, taught me that not only had I overcome the depression with the exercise and the healthy eating, but you know, it's kept me that, like, it's really helped to keep my mind in a good place.
Right. Right.
Even through COVID, you know, there's been a lot of challenging times since since you know, I ran the marathon, but I've managed to come through that pretty good, strong.
Good, good, good. You alluded to your book as well because your book is all about happy body. Why did you write your book? What was your impetus for writing the book?
Well, After doing the bikini fitness, I wanted to do public speaking, and I'm actually really quite shy, believe it or not. So I went and had some public speaking coaching, and on my day of giving my 20-minute talk, because we were coached for I think about 6 weeks, and at the end you had to give a 20-minute talk that was videoed, I discovered statistics, and it's in my talk, of how many women were unhappy and hating their body from a 2001 magazine survey. And it said that 90% of the women, 3,000 women that were asked, 90% of them were unhappy with their body. And for the majority, it was a weight issue as to why they were unhappy. Yeah. And 2/3 of those women would resort to cosmetic surgery to change what it was they were unhappy about. And at the end of that talk, I said, I have to write a book to help those women. And then
wow.
I went out that night with 2 of the women in the group, and they put me in contact with a book writing publisher. And on the Sunday morning, and this is how the universe works, how quick the universe works. On the next morning, which was a Sunday in December, I was speaking to a book publisher. In January, I was on a book writing course. By April, I'd written my book.
Amazing.
I wrote my Happy You, Happy Body book, because I had all this knowledge inside of me that I just wanted to get out of my head and help other women, empower them with exercise and self-care, looking after themselves. Because, you know, we've been brought up, I not say, you know, but people seem to think that self-care is selfish, but it's not. It's necessary. We have to look after ourselves. We put our mask on first before we help others.
Right.
And by doing that, you're a much better caregiver anyway. And that's what I found. I learned one of the biggest secrets in life: get energy, you need to spend it. And I wanted to be a mum that had energy. I also want to be a grandma that can run after my grandchildren. And I've got a little granddaughter, Coco, she's 4. And I love the fact that I can run around after her, and I've got energy. And one day I may well have great-grandchildren. So
yes.
This big picture. I think it's because when I was in my 20s, I worked for the local borough, and I was a personal carer, which meant that I went to care homes, elderly people living in their homes that could no longer look after themselves, and people with illnesses. And I saw with my own eyes what happens to us if we don't take care of ourselves. And I just said, I don't want to be that person that's stuck in front of the TV with a remote control to help me get out of the chair, that then has a stair lift that helps me get up to the stairs. I want to remain active, independent, and love my life up until I want to dance till the day I die. And if I'm not dancing,
that's a quote right there, because I know you won. Wasn't it last week you won a dance contest or something? You won $100. I said, go ahead.
I'm 55 years old and I'm winning dance competitions.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But Karen, that was so profound. You said, I'm gonna dance until the day I die. And as I listen to you, you actually remind me of one of my great aunts. Because you were talking about the dress before, she was 94 when she died. Beautiful woman, tall, slender stature. She would go bowling in her 80s. I mean, she was like a curator at the library. She got recognized by the government officials for her community service. And that is the principle she lived by, my Aunt Josephine. She was literally, that was her. She's like, I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm going to move my body. I'm not going to stay stagnant. I'm not going to stop. And that was her. That was her. And like I said, she was 94 when she passed. And that's one of the reasons I believe, just like you, in continuous movement, like moving your body, dancing. I'm a dancer too, just like you.
Well, our body was designed to move. I think the reason it gets sad is because we're not moving. Like, people get depressed because they're sitting on the sofa, they're watching TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I'm into self-development. I'm into looking
Yes.
after myself. I'm into, researching what's good for me. I say in my book, become your own researcher and being happily, healthily you. Because what works for me might not work for you. We're all individual. We're very individual. We've got our own ways, what we like to eat, the way we want to move. And because of that, it's no good searching outside of you. You need to come ask yourself all of these questions. What would I love to do to eat healthy?
Mhm.
What would I love to do to exercise? And then once you get the answers, and that's where the meditation comes in, because we've got so much outside distraction with the telly, TV and social media and stuff like that. It's not until you come back to yourself and you start asking yourself the questions. And meditation helps you to become quiet and still and let the answers come to you. And the answers are all there. We have our own inner teacher, our own inner guru. We know all the answers. They're inside of us. We just need to be quiet and listen to them. Go away, quiet.
Yeah, the answers are there. We just have to be quiet and listen. Because even like you with the marathon situation, with making that choice over taking the medication or exercise, same thing came up with me. I could have easily, because I had a major breakup and I decided I was going to just give love to myself. I decided to move 700 miles away by myself. I could have easily became depressed, but I was like, no, Elmira, there's another way. And I'm so glad I made that decision. It came with hardships, things I didn't, like you said, you even talked about it with the marathon and other points in your life. This self-care journey, this happy body journey does come with some pain, but for me, the pleasure outweighs the pain. What do you say about that?
Absolutely. It speaks for itself. I, some exercise, walking is not painful. It's the most easiest thing and available to everyone. But during Bikini Fitness, I used to do weight training, body weight exercises, and when I've taught boot camps and power yoga, a lot of that is hard work and it can be painful, but everything you want is on the other side of that pain. So
Hmm.
to have short-term pain to gain like the body that you want, there's no, why would you not? And actually life is full of pain and pleasure, and it's
Yes.
so we have to sometimes go through the pain to get to the pleasure. And so I although I've not enjoyed necessarily some of the hard stuff of doing the more challenging exercises, the feeling you get afterwards far outweighs the hard work that you had to
Hmm.
go through to get there. And that's the same with life, with fear and stuff. You have to go through that fear and that challenge to get to where you want to be. Otherwise, you're going to step back into comfort, not a step forward into the unknown. And like I said, everything you want is on the other side of uncomfortable. So get used to it, and exercise helps you with that. I think that's why I've been able to take these massive leaps of faith and come out smiling, because a little bit of pain is going to get me what I want. And it's just short.
Definitely.
It's not long term. It's just a fly that's really flying around my head.
Yeah, that fly wants to be all around you today. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to have a look at spirit animals and see what a fly means.
I agree. We actually had some flies in our house. Well, it was one fly, and I swear it was either an ancestor, some type of, like you're talking about with the spirit animal. I know for sure because the way this fly was acting, it was like it had a personality. I was like, what is going on with you? Well, as we close out this conversation, is there anything extra you want to share with the audience? Like, do you have, I know you have the October 11th coming up in the States. You have your book available. Is there anything extra we need to know to stay abreast of what you have going on?
I just watch your space, and you've said about my book. My book's available on Amazon. I'm updating it to a 2023 version because it was Karen Jones, and I've recently got remarried. I had my 1-year wedding anniversary on Friday, so I'm now Karen Cadé, and I really want to be known as my new married name. So I'm updating the book to be my new married name. I've made a few changes in the book to update, and I just want to get, like I said, I love helping people. I had the opportunity when I came to Italy to, be a housewife and stay at home. And then within 2 weeks, I was like, no, I have dreams, I have aspirations. I want to work on my business because I was trying to be a single mum, bringing up my daughters, and my son was older, but my 2 daughters, trying to run a business, trying to do it all, trying to heal from a toxic relationship and help my children as well. And I couldn't put into my business what I would have loved to have done, and my book. And it's like, no, now is my time. I just felt that, no, I want to go back to work. I want to study. I've been on a mentoring course with Kim Calver, a 1-year mentorship course. I'm on the Sarah Gray business
She's
consultant.
amazing.
And I've got a business coach, Samnima. Hi, Samnima. And so I've got all the things in place that I couldn't do before, and now I really want to focus on getting my message out there, have a lot more clarity around my business, and doing, carrying on with my public speaking. That's why I did the bikini fitness contest and then went on to public speaking, because I've got a message, that I want to share with the world.
And your message is so clear, and you're great at sharing it, because that's what comes through with you. Is this happiness? Is this joy? Is this commitment to exercise throughout life? And somebody put it here, Harvey Diamond Pain Relief. Thanks, Karen. Really appreciate the realistic approach to exercise. That's what you give women. You give us a realistic approach instead of, oh, you got to do this or you got to do this. No, it's about achieving happiness.
It's about what's right for you, not what's right for men. So, I don't want women to, I don't put out a lot, especially on my website, about the bikini fitness, because I didn't want women to look at me and say, well, I'll never be like that, because good is good enough. If you're not training to be an athlete, you're not training to run the marathon, your body is good is good enough.
And I love that statement. Good is good enough. Well, we have had another edition. I think our connection went out a little bit, but that's okay because we were coming to the close anyway. This has been another edition of Heart to Heart with Karen Cadé. Make sure you all check her out here on Instagram and beyond. Until next time. Okay, bye.
Amazing. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.